Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to another episode of Oracles of the Orange Cheddar.
Classy.
Just when we thought the classiness had expired after last week,
we come back with another.
Don't call it a comeback. It's been here for 2 weeks now.
We come back with another ascot.
Yes, that's it. Yes, a big shout out to Morgan Goldstein, as you are the winner for this.
That's a classy name too, Morgan.
It is.
Gold. Your name.
Not even silver.
Your name
fits
the title.
Pure gold. Of course.
So, I'm with that.
I'm your host, Tom Grossi. That's the marvelous, stupendous Ryan Grant.
Hey.
And here we are once again. Unfortunately, not filled with glee and joy and pride.
Yeah, that performance wasn't marvelous, at least in the second half.
It wasn't. The first one, first half, marvelous and stupendous. Couple turnovers, but
it was a package. They put together the full package, and they were playing ball.
Yeah, it's like when it's Christmas morning and there's a beautifully wrapped box, and it's the most exquisite packaging that you could ever imagine, like high end, right? There's bows on it, so tightly tight. It looks amazing. And then you open it, it's a bunch of styrofoam. Like that's essentially what it was.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, and I would say that there was a few packages that were like, whoa. Whoa. It was like, oh wow, they're coming. And and I think that let's add to the vision that we're putting out there. You saw it wasn't super clean, so you saw some of the trimmings and you saw some of the, you saw the tape and you saw the scissors on the side, like, oh, they put some, they were doing the work and they left it out. So They didn't clean up totally, but the packaging was beautifully done.
Yeah.
And then when you opened it, it was nothing. Yeah.
Ribbon was a little frayed, but you're just like, wow, the amount of effort and time they put into this was clearly something.
Yeah, and you're like so excited. This is gonna be wow. Because if you're willing to do this type of packaging, then the product has to be the same caliber. Open, and then it's
and there's
what is it? What
styrofoam peanuts.
Looking around.
Can you even recycle those anymore? I don't even know if you can. I don't even know if you can recycle styrofoam anymore. I think
this is the thing about, I think that there was a misconception that you were ever able to. That's the thing about styrofoam peanuts. I don't know if you were ever able to. I think
that's true. So it's just sitting there.
People were just doing it. That's the type of product that they put out.
It's just sitting in a landfill right now.
Man,
it's just a big L. Okay.
Yeah. So yes, they did not in that second half perform. It was I don't know. What did Matt say about the energy level coming out that second half? Did he?
I mean, from what I saw, I know Aaron Nagler, shout out. Oh, we weren't shouting him out anymore because last time we talked about Cheesehead TV, they lost. Damn it! I'm sorry. Shout out to Aaron Nagler. Asked Coach, asked him an awesome question yesterday about the defense, because you saw the defense play such soft zone again, and they're lined up like 15 yards past the line of scrimmage, and they're able to dump it off and make things happen, go for it on fourth down, and
a lot of plays after the catch, a lot of big.
It's infuriating. Now, here's what I'll say: the Packers had 4 turnovers, and they were still in this.
Still should have won the game. Still could have, would have, should have, but could have very much so won the game. Which of course, we had talked about earlier. You're never gonna, and you shouldn't ever win a game when you turn the ball over like that. So it's one of those, like, I guess they deserve what they got, but very quote unquote uncharacteristic in regards to that manner. Aaron threw that pick early on, which was a little late ball in my opinion, but also a good play on the defense. It was a good play because I think most quarterbacks probably throw that pick. So so because of the expectation of Aaron, it's one of those maybe a little late, but it's a good blow. That corner bluffed in like he was playing that bump or playing that zone and then ran. It was beautiful. It was with that. But I just think, the fumbles and it's just unfortunate. What was that? What happened on that fumble with the kickoff?
Oh, with Shepard. Yeah, man. I mean, that gets me to the point of like special teams. Special teams was just bad. I mean, we had special teams problems against the Jaguars, obviously allowing a return for a touchdown. But, not having Tyler Ervin, it hurts. I mean, you go back to last year and our return game was literally negative. It was abysmal. And we brought Ervin in. Ervin kind of, spruced it up a little bit. And we missed him on Sunday because, Darius Shepard, who was a practice squad guy, got called up, then got called back down, went back to practice squad, looked good last year in the preseason, but Lazard kind of became like the story. Shepard had an opportunity again today. And I know, listen, we need somebody back there to return, but the special teams, not just on the returns, obviously with the fumble, but even J.K. Scott kind of really not great, even with punting and kind of giving the Colts a short field to work with.
Yeah, they weren't helping the squad in any capacity. One of those things, those 3 phases, you do want to make sure that this is why 3 phases, you want them to all be rocking, because when things are not happening for one phase, you need the 2 others to kind of pick it up. And it's interesting. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do next week if Tyler's not able to play. So I don't know, but it was one of those, I talked about it last week in regards to this game, that on paper we should emphatically absolutely win this game. I think we're the better team. I think that we have the better players, better matchups, have been performing more consistently better, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But any given Sunday, that doesn't matter. And I did think that this was a possibility. This was one of those, I don't want to say a trap game, but a game that we could absolutely lose.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised that it ended in the way that it ended, just because they were home. Any team that has a strong defense with a quarterback like Phillip Rivers, you're in the game. You know what I mean? They're going to be in the game. They have enough weapons to try to make things happen. They had some young guys step up for them, which was really interesting to see, to hear Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
To hear that name was like, what?
Yeah. Who? Yeah, no, I talked about him when I was talking with the Colts fan, and I was just like, watch him get his first, because I think it was his first touchdown. Like,
yeah, it was.
Yeah, and I was just like, watch him go off. And like that one play was gross. Like they dumped it off to him, and he cut across the seat.
What was going on? What
he didn't even get touched.
What defensively? What was going on in that play?
I asked that a lot. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not a defensive coordinator. I know that might come to a shock to many at home. And Ryan, I apologize to be springing that on you in this way.
Yeah, just to let you know. I don't even know. Well, hold on. Before, as you say that, I'm thinking, well, who am I talking to then?
Yeah, honestly,
because I didn't know that. I don't know if I would have signed him to do this. Now, I'm glad I am right now, because at the end of the day, like we're in it, and we've built the rapport. Like we've been through the trenches, but
it was based off a lie, really.
Wow.
Even though I never said I was, it was based off a misconception. I think.
Yeah, misconception. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. I clearly
take all the time you need.
But you project defensive coordinator energy.
I mean,
you walk
honestly,
around with big DC energy. Big DC energy. Okay, there you go. Yep, gotcha. See how I do that? See, I didn't do. We should do a tandem stand up.
Listen, let's go. We'll stay.
I know how to like put my inappropriate level like right at the.
It's dancing on the line. It's just dancing. It's just like, hey, am I going to cross it?
Yeah.
Am I going to do it? Am I going to cross it? I appreciate you saying I have big DC energy. I'm going to go home and I'm going to definitely tell that to my wife and be like, well, you know what? Ryan Gratton not only thinks I have a 1.3% chance of making the NFL, but apparently I also have big DC energy. Thank you very much.
Check me out. I didn't say 1.3% chance of making the NFL. That's the Packers. When you talk about the entire league, it might be a little even higher. Who knows? If you're willing to play for some of these,
the Jets literally they're having open tryouts.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you know what? You might be able to go down, walk in right now, and say, "Listen, I got a proposal." you might be able to put a proposal together for the Jets and make it happen. So
okay, then it's popping up to like maybe
it's popping. Yeah. I don't know. You might have a 3.
I was about to say might get to 3. Well, okay. So now that we've gone through that revelation, I was able to get us back on track. I remembered what I was talking about. Preston Smith was in coverage again.
Yeah, I don't know.
And like I don't. And again, I know what I'm not. I don't understand because this is not the first time it has happened.
Yes.
And it's not the first time it's happened this season.
No, yeah, he spends for what they're paying him. And it's a whole lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
For what they're paying him, he spends a lot of time in coverage. And I don't know if that's because they haven't quite figured out because the defense is not performing in the manner that they want. They're struggling to try to compensate. And I don't know. I'm not trying to make excuses at all because it's clearly not working and it's not even helping. So it's not like, oh, well, they're still performing and he just, he's having no. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't get it. He drops so much. Like, what?
And that's the thing. Like, it was against a tight end again. So I'm imagining it's when they have a bunch of receivers on the field, so they have another tight end that needs to get covered. And I get that, but like they got a touchdown again. Like right.
They must not feel really comfortable depth wise, which is a problem.
Well, you were talking about younger guys. Like Raven Green had a great game. Loved seeing him. He had a couple of really big hits, a couple of really, really good plays. Obviously, Kevin King, coming back, and Jair Alexander coming back definitely did help.
Yeah.
Kirksey got an interception, which was wonderful. But I think it's so crazy. And again, I'm going to give kudos to the defense and say that with 4 turnovers, they still were able to hold them.
They absolutely yes, okay, and let's
that's a positive, and I don't want to be like, oh my God.
Able to be honest with you, they did everything they could to give the team an opportunity to still win the game, and so
they did that. I get that. It's so crazy how night and day this defense can be, and and we've been talking about this before. Like I don't know what Pettine's future is. I think LaFleur. It's not LaFleur's guy. And I think that. At some point, like there's just going to have to be, and whether it's going to be at the end of the season, which I imagine is what it's going to be.
I think it's whether it's at this point in time, whether it's Mike or not, or whether it's Pettin or not, I think they'll probably go in a different direction just because at some point in time, you're responsible for inconsistencies. You're responsible for units, not performing at a particular level. So
We'll say Rashawn Gary had another nice game.
Yes, he did. And shouts to Rashawn again. And I was going to use that as an example that when you look at statistically per the amount of plays and opportunities that they're getting, he's right on point with Preston Smith.
Yeah, I think he's gotten less snaps than Preston Smith, but it has been more productive.
Yeah. So his production level relative to his time is.
I mean, it's a good thing in terms of, look, you have a guy that people 5 minutes after he was drafted were calling a bust. That's a great thing.
And who still hasn't really been comfortable in the 3-4 in that defense yet. I think he's still trying to find what role he's going to play. I think he's maybe more natural with a hand in the dirt type of player. Yes. But I'm actually really close with one of his former coaches, and he hit me about it. He was like, "What do you think about Gary?" And I think I said, it's opportunity for him also, but I said, because he's not getting time, like he's not getting a chance to really develop in a manner like, one thing. So he's not going to necessarily be great at any one thing just yet. He's just got to find ways to make plays.
Exactly.
And he's got to just make the most of the time. And it's not always the easiest thing, but shouts to Gary because he came to play.
Now, obviously, with all the things, Rodgers was still great. Rodgers did well, over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. But of course, the way that this ended, the story that carried on past the end of the game was, of course, that of MVS. Now, MVS, and I'm going to preface it with this, MVS is the reason we got into overtime, right?
Yeah,
MVS during the game had a big pass interference call, right? So that they stopped because it was going to be a touchdown. Otherwise, he also caught a bomb on 3rd and 10 from their own end zone that put him in range to actually go and tie up the game. And he fumbles in overtime, which, by the way, when we got the ball, I was just like, oh, finally. We won a coin toss. This is amazing. Like, we're finally going to get the ball. Like, there's all the flashbacks of like losing all those overtime games. They started flooding into my mind. He fumbles the ball.
I thought it was a good opportunity. Anytime, from a confidence level, when you get the ball first, you think, oh, we'll go win this game.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're Matt Hasselbeck and, we want the ball and we're going to score because that did not happen.
Nobody on that team.
But yeah, so MVS fumbled and just not so great things transpired afterwards. And Ryan, which one do you want to talk about first? Do we want to talk about the death threats from garbage people, or do you want to talk about the garbage reporting?
Let's talk about the death threats from the people first.
Okay.
Because
let's just start off with that nice little appetizer there.
Let's start off with that little appetizer.
So similar to Ty Montgomery, when he fumbled coming out of the end zone on a return, and
my guy as well, and also my guy who messed up on the made a mistake in the
Brandon Bostic.
Yes.
Bostic. Oh yes. It drove. I mean, like you hear some of the interviews that he has done, and like people legitimately like, I'm going to kill you. Like it was bad. Yeah. And I'm going to say this: fans hurling death threats at MVS, and it was honestly disgusting. A positive, obviously, and I'm happy to support the team that does this. You saw a ton of his teammates coming out on social media and supporting him. Coach LaFleur supporting, like everybody kind of just being like, hey, we're in it. He actually answered questions the very next day from the press and was just like,
he stood up. I appreciate that he right away stepped up and was willing to acknowledge and have a conversation and dialogue around the whole situation. So he's clearly he's got a good foundation and I love the fact that guys came up to his bat and supported him and stuff like that. It's a team game, and in all aspects.
Yeah.
That's how it is on all aspects. Yes, everyone individually can make a statement about the fact that, guys don't play well, or an individual might say, that person didn't play well, or that unit didn't play well. But when it gets to that point, like I said off camera, it's unacceptable. Like that stuff is it's absurd, and it really you've seen it. Trust me, he's not the only player on the team that is getting those threats. It's unfortunately, it is part of our culture. It's part of sports. It's part of the over celebration on the highly hyper celebrated, sensationalized aspect of sports that we live in, where celebrities are idolized and in the same breath idolized as these gods and, oh my goodness, oh, you're bigger than this. And then when you do something wrong, it's like, how dare you? You're here for my entertainment, and and it's so interesting. It's like these fans, and I say these fans in the manner of, I'm a fan as well, but I've been fortunate to, I don't have that perspective where someone's quote unquote wrongdoing or mistake in a game gets me to the point that I care about wishing harm upon them ever, that what they did. You're not talking about malicious act. You're not even talking about like they sabotaged. You're not talking about they hurt someone. Now, if he would have said, I did it on purpose, even that, it's still to me like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, whoa, MVS.
He rips off, there's a Colts jersey underneath.
Exactly. I'm trying to sabotage. Like, you know what? I don't care about none of this team, whatever.
I don't even like cheese.
It's like, whoa, dude, like that's whack. That's super disrespectful. You're going to have to handle some of them dudes in the locker room. But I'm still like, wish harm upon you. Like, I want you to no longer exist.
Alive.
It's like, hey, guys, ladies and gents, this is a game. And I understand that it's a highly valued venue, business entity, celebrated game.
Yeah.
Game. It is a game. It is something that we enjoy. They enjoy playing. And if you think that because of the amount of money that comes along with this game, the seriousness that comes along with this game, or your personal lack of other and investment into this game validates you speaking to an individual or creating a circumstance where you feel that that is just okay. It's like, no, get over yourself. Yeah. And really, you need to do some inner work. And now the next podcast will be work on, well, let's get a good name for that. It will be the inner dwellings of you Packer fans, because there's bigger issues podcast. But no, yeah, it's unfortunate. It's disheartening. It's like, come on, really, guys. And I know that it's in the moment, but we do have control over that, and it happens. Somebody said something. I saw somebody tweet like, especially with what happened in 2020, and I was like, well, what is the relevance of that? And they're like, it's just the virus, and I'm like, what? No, it's every year. Like,
that's not like, 2019. Oh yeah, death threats. Yeah, keep coming, guys.
No, well, that's bad. Wait a minute. 2014 was. Hey, that's understand. No,
that's fine. But once there's a pandemic, then you got to cool it at least for a few months.
Put it all in perspective, guys. No. I said, I told you off camera that in 2011 when we lost that game against the Giants. Jesus Christ, bring that up. But when we lost that game and I fumbled. And this was early Twitter.
Yeah.
Early Twitter.
Yep.
I was getting shots from everything. Bigot, racism, sexist. I don't even like the sexist stuff was interesting. I got it all. And how dare, as if anyone, like, I'm sorry. So I'm still apologizing to that. But yeah, it's one of those things, and it hasn't gotten any better. Just put it all in perspective, people. Really, I understand it but this game, you sometimes, I don't know, the fans, you hold on to you guys and ladies and gents. When I say guys, I mean everyone. We are holding on to this identity. There's like an identity around the team that when they do something that like you're less than, and how I can't believe you're not worthy of existing.
Yeah.
Whoa. Wow. Like, nah, there's nothing. I'm not big on putting any property rights over human rights and stuff like that. So, it's disheartening, and end of rant right there.
Yeah. I think, so like considering your experience with it firsthand and like going through it, what do you do as a player? And obviously, you're speaking for yourself, but what do you do as a player? Like, do you just like, okay, that's enough Twitter today and like log it off? And because MVS came out and said like the only opinions that really matter are the people in that building, right? Like they're the only ones at the end of the day. But I feel like there has to be a level where you're just like, okay, like this is pretty crappy. I'm not going to lie. Like, how do you internalize that, or just?
I think you put it in perspective.
Yeah.
It would be kind of foolish to think that you can totally. We live in a day and age where social media is so much a part of everything we do, from the interview process to everything, advertising, clips. Everything's digital, and everything is around that. So, by no means do I think that even in 2009, it wasn't like, oh no, get off it. There's so much, and even the way that guys are communicating on social, like with it. I remember I was talking with the training staff, and they were saying that you can't call guys. There's no calling. Everything is text, digital. Like you have to hit them, whether this is to get in contact with the players.
Yeah,
you have to text them, hit them on the social media, and everything like that. So it's very much a part. So to think that most guys are gonna ask, like, no, I don't follow that at all, not be a part of it. It's not realistic. And reinforcing to help with that is, yes, you have to reinforce your relationships with the team and make sure that you guys are on the same page, because it's such the magnitude of social media. If you're not solid, if there's not a strong foundation on that team, individually and unit wise and across the board, meaning that they're not having conversations like, hey, we didn't put together the best product, but let's stay tight, let's stay together. It is really easy with these waves of social media to break through these chains, because like, you know, that notion around you're only as strong as your weakest link, it's real. Mm-hmm. Somebody hears somebody says, hey, well, I heard, you know, anybody at this point in time, like there's no quote unquote validation in a tweet. If you just see it all. So it's, you know what I mean? Anybody could say something, hey, well, I heard this from this. And if that gets to somebody and they start to question, oh, well, what, you know, if they're not already like tight and they know like, no, I'm Trump tight in regards to the fact that whatever, it doesn't even matter. We'll address it in the locker room. And, you know, I do. There are certain things where it's like, no, that's like what stays in the locker room.
Sure.
What happens in the locker room stays in the locker room. So I think that I like the way he handled it. At the same breath, you do have to, there to some degree, I'm not mad at him stepping up to some of it, you know, and that kind of carries over and transitions into the next phase.
What Mr. Ryan Gray, what a great transition. What a pro, what a professional here. And so what you're alluding to is not only did you have garbage, I'm going to keep using in quotes, fans, but you also had garbage beat writer reporting. Yeah. And notice how I didn't attack the person. I attacked their reporting because you don't attack the people because, you know, professionalism from a guy in his basement, not a credentialed beat writer. So sorry, but no shade.
But with DC energy.
Yeah, you know. So what you had was a tweet that was sent out from a credentialed beat writer that said about MVS that he is dazzling and dumb. And then following that, during Matt LaFleur's post-game press conference, asked him, and I quote, Matt, I'm going to be blunt here. How can you live with MVS? And shout out to Coach LaFleur, who rocked that answer.
Man, it was phenomenal.
Rocked that answer. But we'll get there in 10 seconds. I want to give a whole synopsis and then we'll talk.
I'm with you.
Then that particular beat writer said nothing, doubled down on it, then called the rest of the beat writers on his show soft. And then finally, after he was called out by MVS for the dazzling and dumb tweet, deleted the tweet and then said, I apologize. Got to reflect on my words. Looking forward to continuing to covering the Packers.
Yeah, I'm sure you are looking forward. You hope that you're looking. I actually didn't even hear that he doubled down and then I didn't hear that. I think it's just like baffling. And what it does is it lets me know that we have this facade. There's a facade in our society and culture, especially in social media, that has created these false safety nets around the way we can talk to people, the way we can, and I don't want to say think about safety, you think whatever you want, but the way that you can think that you can just project and put out your feelings with no ramifications. Because as a human, to think that regarding a game that you can just say like insult and say dazzling and dumb. It's like, what are we talking about here? Dumb in one sense. Like I'm talking smack. Like I wish I would have been dumb dumb in one sense.
How you mean?
Hey, explain to me. Because I'm not gonna. I am dumb in certain manners. So like, which way are you talking?
Which manner are we talking about?
Yeah. So let me know which way so that I can address that. But yeah, and it's like I'm not advocating for violence, but I am advocating for people feeling like that they can say whatever they want because there are no repercussions, and the repercussions in these type of settings are that. If there's not going to be a standard in regards to how people are handling themselves, regarding how people handle themselves, it's like, wait a minute. If he can say what's stopping from MVS and saying, no, I have to protect I have to do this because these are the people that they're in the media. So they do have a very much a high stake in how I'm portrayed. Like, you can't validate the media's role.
Sure.
And then when they say certain things like this and they use certain words and they create certain narratives, validate that and then not give support. It's wishy-washy and it's dangerous. And like, I'm not for it at all. It's like, what type of standard are we setting in regards to how we talk about people in regards to anything? I don't care. Like, once again, it goes back to, what did this guy do?
Yeah.
Really, what did he do? Even if he lost the game.
Yep.
Even if the worst thing you want to say is that he lost the game for his team. Game. Keyword game. There was nothing malicious. There was nothing deceitful. There was no criminal, mischievous act. No heinous act. Like, nothing. What are we talking about here? We're not even talking about like a fight that happened.
Sure.
And we're not talking about like, oh, he tried to do this and locker
almost
room
injured somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he intentionally, like, no. What you're talking about? He didn't make a judgment. It's not somebody who's made like personal judgment calls and has been like a problem off the field. Like, what are we talking about here? And for that to be in my mind, is for that to be accepted and there not to be any repercussions for that. It's like, oh, that's a message that you send to your team. It's like, we're not protecting our guys. Yes, and in the same breath, I do recognize that this is a high level, high performance career job business. So the level of critique should be that. I'm not saying that, but even in that, and if we do not think that you want high level performers, then have high level writers.
Yeah, that's a great point.
If you want high level character performers, have high level character writers and how you handle yourself. If the best description and analysis you can come is dazzling and dumb, then guess what, my brother? You need to go back and get some certification. And like, I don't know, I know they do like
classes,
board certification. It's like, you got, as a doctor, you got to continue to see what's going on. It's like, there are an endless array of words that could describe and speak a little better to what it's just. Yeah, it's piss poor. It's low budget. So that's a low budget performance from writing, from a media aspect. I apologize. End of rant.
No, please. Like, and I mean, the thing, again, talking about like how people like came to MVS, like you did see beat writers who also were just like, nah, like this ain't okay. Like, this is not, this is not professionalism. Like that ain't me. But like you talk about like, weakest link in a chain, like that reflects poorly on like.
Absolutely. So absolutely. So I think other writers should step up and say, no, I don't, I'm not in agreement with that.
And what drives me crazy is a few things here. Is one, I'm curious if there's going to be one at all, but we were talking about this off camera about like if the Packers are going to respond to this in any way, shape, or form, or just leave it to. He said something MVS called him out. Yeah. Bygones be bygones. Which if that's the case, fine. I get it, handling from that. But I think the other issue becomes then like, the company that he is working for, like they were completely silent on it. And on top of that, it took a full day after doubling down on it, like tweeting, asking a dumbass question, doubling down on it the morning after, and then going, oh, I done messed up now. Like now, oh, really, social media is letting me have it, for then you're like, okay, time to reflect on what I said now.
It's just a representation. And I think that the Packers, MVS, everybody should take notes and everybody should pay attention, move accordingly. Because we're not talking, like we said this before, we're not talking about somebody who's year one of beat writer with the Packers. We're not talking about somebody who came from another team. We're talking about someone who has been with almost 20 years.
Yep.
And it's, so yes, based upon your experience, based upon your level of quote unquote expertise, you are going to be held to a standard. Do you not want to? Because guess what? I'm pretty sure that if somebody came in as a beat writer and was making more money than him, he might say, whoa, 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 whoa. It's like, well, then guess what? You can't talk. We can't have these conversations and there not actually be some sort of consistency in our line of thought. Yeah, it's, so at the end of the day, we're not talking about the character of him. Like, I don't, we've all quote unquote done dumb things, and we've all said things that were inappropriate. So I'm just talking about that. Yeah, that action, it was bad. Yep. That was about as bad as it gets from a high level performance. Do you think that what MVS did was bad? Let me equate it into football talk. That was fumble first 2 plays of the series in a playoff game, and then fumble every other carry after that, and not run for 200 yards, and then you lose. That's what that was.
That's what that is, and
that's what that writing was.
and that end scene. That's what. And I think too, like, I have personal experience with this, that the Packers have kind of like I don't want to say it's an illusion, because I think that they do have good beat writers, but I think that they've created. I
don't. That's not where we're coming from.
No.
We're not attacking the beat writers.
No, definitely not. But I think that they are like, hey, the only people that cover this football team that are allowed in the locker room are only like the highest quality writers, highest quality individuals. That's why we don't allow people from random podcasts. That's why we don't allow people from random websites, even though The Athletic was literally just given, millions of dollars and they were automatically given credentials, but that's neither here nor there. It's true. But like you talk about that, and then that happens. And then you're like, but wait a minute, like,
it's double talk. You can't actually, it needs to be addressed, because the standard, you can't say, hey, we hold our players, everyone in this, and I will say with the Packers, there's a level with that organization of how you treat individuals. That's what I love, not one thing, but that's what I loved. Everybody in that organization, from top down, from general manager, president, to the groundskeeper, to our sewers, and like everybody, equipment, like everyone is willing to do whatever it takes. I don't know if you heard my children yelling. Whatever it takes to actually help that organization win. Mm-hmm. They'll go above and beyond their job description, and the way they treat individuals, it's like a family. And when I was there, and I can only speak for that, but so anybody that comes in those doors, it's like, no. When you step into my household, we have this is how we handle ourselves. This is how we treat each other. This is how we talk to individuals. Yes. And there's a level of respect and courtesy, even in the expectation of get your job done. Everybody is expected to perform at a high level, because we're all trying to win. We're all trying to help this organization win a Super Bowl. That is the goal. But with that, and this is the notion, this is where there's a disconnect with the media. It's like, what's your role here? Like, you need to be honest around what's your role. Is your role to strictly critique?
Yeah.
Then there's going to build a certain amount of disdain and, this notion of like, well, of course there's going to be separation, because you're not here for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, you're not here for me. You're not really it's almost like you're looking for me to mess up.
Yeah, of course.
You're looking to poke holes. And
it'll get more clicks.
Absolutely. And you're working in a very tricky space with that. So, yeah, Drew, I think that there needs to be, if there's going to be a standard of, hey, this is, as Packers, as the organization, we represent this, and this is how we try to move, then be consistent. Put a statement out that maybe says something about that, and say, hey, that's unacceptable. It's like, because I'm saying it, like, I'm speaking for that. And I know a lot of other guys, former players, believe that as well. And it does not mean that we have a standard of performance. And with that standard of performance isn't everything. How you talk to people is a standard of performance. Like, because trust me, I could say truthfully of certain things. If somebody's not getting it done, you could say, hey, coach, how do you feel about this person, from an opinion, feeling like they might not be performing at the standard that you want of the team? Like, how do we maneuver with that? How do you feel? Like,
sure.
There's so many ways to say it. Endless ways that you could have asked what I think you were trying to ask.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, no, let's do better, and let's expect better. because we expect better.
And it's crazy too that like that and I know we're harboring on this a lot, but like this is something that I think like a lot of people.
It's important though, and I
agree.
Yeah, it is.
Because like I think that like I saw that and I was like I literally without even looking I was like, oh, is that like a fan? Like is that like, you know, who got into the press conference and was like, what are you gonna do about MVS like right now?
Child,
like somewhat unattended is it's crazy to me to think that like I like again all the props in the world to Matt LaFleur to not looking at him and be like,
oh,
what the hell did you just say?
You know what I mean? That is the best. If Matt would have responded like, what? Like I didn't say it, like, are you serious? Like that's how I thought he could have responded with, yeah. Are you serious? Oh, you're serious? Oh, but Matt was great. Matt's response was so phenomenal. And I'm sure it was like comical. Like I would have laughed at the Matt's response because it was like the fact that this dude even asked this question.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna give you so much.
And I'm so proud of him.
I actually trust him more than ever. I trust him more than ever.
Yeah. He's now the godfather to my child after that game. Like,
yeah. You know what? Yes, he made a mistake. Watching how he responded to this, I actually feel more comfortable with that than before.
Yep. And I will
which I think fundamentally is a really good thing because we always talk about like how you respond.
Yep.
Is the most important thing. Not about it's how you respond. So yes, if from a true aspect, really actually how he has responded to this and how I believe that he'll respond in regards to with how the team has responded around him. Yes, you should actually trust him more. You know, when I come in that playoff game, Mike's whole thing was, never broke protocol. Never a thought going away from RG. And it was because he's too much a part of, he's built this up. He's given us so much trust. Like, what? We know he'll respond.
Sure.
You know, and that's, it validates me. It helps in any quote unquote second guess I might have had, and then vice versa. I mean, performance, all you do is just reinforce that. So now I love how the team handled it. I am looking for the organization to maybe do something from a media aspect, but I do love how internally they handled it across the board. So shouts out to LaFleur and the rest of those guys sticking up for MVS, and shouts out to MVS, man. I'm proud of you, brother. Keep rocking. And to that reporter, I know you. I don't have an issue with you, but do better, man. Like, do better. And really, if you don't actually think that you need to be better in that sense, then you need to sit and have some conversations with some other people who you value, who care about you, and who are actually saying, "Hey, yeah, that ain't it. Yeah, that ain't it, man. That's not what it is." That's it. That's all I got for that. Like, are we playing a game this week?
Yeah, I feel like I'm literally because I saw that crap. It was so it was such a frustrating. Like the game got me frustrated. The MVS thing got me frustrated. The media thing got
it's like, oh man, we got to deal with that too.
Yeah, exactly. Like this took a whole damn episode. Like literally, just because you can't do your damn job, and I ain't talking about MVS.
Exactly. So you see how, but that's what lets you know, and these are these moments where it actually is like hope.
Yeah.
For us as people, because this is where the emphasis should be.
Yeah.
This is actually worse than what MVS did.
Yes.
That is the point.
Because MVS is gonna rebound and is gonna put up 20 points against the Bears.
Yeah.
That reporter is probably gonna ask another dumbass question in 3 weeks. And that's what it's good. He's never gonna ask a question that everyone's gonna be like, yeah, that's so great. That was so good. That erases everything.
But what also I'm hoping he doesn't do is now then and go placate and the banter and patronize because he feels like, oh, now I have to play into it more. No, don't do that. That's not own it the same way MVS has to own it, and the Packers have to own it, and Coastal 4 owns it when he is subpar and whatever it may be. Own it and then move forward.
I say the Packers accidentally keep kicking him and be like, you must have really bad connection because it's all on Zoom now. So at this point,
yeah, whatever. Hey, man, I'm not a part of the cancel culture, but shame is my game.
Ringing the bell down the square. That's it. I mean, Ryan, we'll talk about it for like a couple minutes, but the Green Bay Packers, obviously back at home, Sunday Night Football. No idea who the Bears quarterback is going to be. Nick Foles is dealing with an injury. Trubisky's dealing with injury. They were trying out Deshaun Kaiser, former Packers legend.
All right,
Kaiser.
I'm not mad at you, Kaiser.
So, listen, they got a good defense. Their offense is anemic, and that's the most positive thing I can say about it.
I would say that's actually a decent word.
Yeah.
Decent. Anemic was like lacking, but abysmal.
Yeah.
Abyss, the dark abyss. Yeah, that's what their offense is like.
It's
like an echo of
bog of eternal stench. It's pretty terrible. So yeah, the Green Bay Packers, while their defense is tough, I have all the confidence in the world that the Green Bay Packers, regardless of who the quarterback is and steps out onto Lambeau Field, I feel very confident about the Green Bay Packers because they're going to come in real angry and very, very highly motivated. It is a divisional game. Bears-Packers games can always get a little contentious. It's prime time.
Yeah, it's a divisional game, and just in general, they know you. They got more film on you than anybody. They've studied, and trust me, and it's if you don't think that they're going to be playing hard just because it's Green Bay, just because it's a divisional game and it's Sunday night, you're bugging. Yeah. So don't take it any for granted, and you still got a job to do and play at a high level. But if anybody thinks that this game should be close or we should lose this game, you are foolish.
Yes,
we should dominate this game.
This is where we get back on track to this.
Yes, we should dominate. We should dominate, and yes, this should be a game where let's not give them any opportunity to think that they should be in this game with us. Like, don't play with them. Like, let's not. Yeah. Oh no. Start off rocking and rolling. Start off fast. Start off fresh. I would like to see, and I don't really like to get to like game plan stuff, but I would like to see Matt break it open. Like, you know what I mean? Let's try to get that. I know the defense is good, but let's try to get this run game going. Let's try to get Aaron on track. Aaron Jones on track.
Aaron Jones has to get the ball more.
Yeah, let's get him on track early and often. Like early so that we can, you know what I mean? Like set the standard. It'll help with play action. I think that getting those guys, they've been a good job of getting them out the backfield and dump passes and stuff like that. So, yeah, I would like to see Matt like, all right, let's go for the gusto here. You know what I mean? Let's not try to play it safe or nothing like that. No. Like, yes, I know we dropped the ball. We lost that game on Sunday, but this is not an opportunity to play it safe. This is a game where it's like we need to bust it wide open on national television so that everybody else says, okay, yeah, they played the Bears, but they dominated the Bears.
They dominated
in Packer fashion. So
all gas, baby. All gas.
Absolutely.
Break. I think that was the best that we could possibly say. That was. I think
that's it. That's all that's necessary.
That's it. That's it.
Don't play no game.
Let's go. Let's go destroy the Bears on Sunday Night Football. Let's get back on track. Mr. Ryan Grant, I appreciate you as always and your words of wisdom. Please tell the people where they could locate you.
Well, don't listen. If you're going to talk to me like that, like if you're going to talk to me the way that some of you fans talk to play, don't locate me. But
I'll find you.
But to those who are willing to engage in constructive conversation with Ryan Grant, you can find me at Twitter at Ryan Grant 25 and Instagram Ryan.Grant. Because I couldn't get Ryan Grant because somebody has it. I don't know, some guy has it. Whatever.
I know that life.
But yeah, Ryan.Grant at Instagram. Yeah, holler at me. Just we can talk. And if you know what I appreciate. If you want to give any thoughts on perspective on what occurred, let me know. Shoot me a thing so I can destroy it. No, I'm playing. Bam! But yeah, man, and it's funny. This podcast was a lot of outside of football, but I think it's important. I think that it allows, it puts everything in perspective, especially in the week that we're in around giving thanks.
It's true.
And I'm Native American, so I don't celebrate Thanksgiving in the holiday and what the sense is, but I can recognize that it still is a time to have awareness and be reflective and keep perspective and give thanks and have gratitude and give thanks and have gratitude. So yeah, I think it's fitting. This whole thing was pretty fitting.
Because we're always on brand, damn it. We are
There you
always on brand.
There you go.
You can find me at Tom Grossi Comedy and at Tom Grossi and stuff and podcast and you know.
Tom Grossi and stuff.
Don't go to TomGrossi.com because like Ryan Grant, someone stole TomGrossi.com and they
Really?
stole before I even was anything. They stole it. It's like some
What
guy,
is it? Do they use it for anything?
No, but there's a guy like I can't Twitter and Instagram. They took Tom Grossi and it's like some dude who's like in finance or something. But
Ooh.
yeah, so it's a big L there. But what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do,
Mr. Ryan Grant? I
what
greatly
you're gonna stand up in adversity and you're gonna do your job and be bigger and better because of it. Boom. That's what you did. You did it. Look what you did. You know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at someone who's got signed balls, Super Bowl trophies, skulls, hats, a computer that looks like he's hacked into the Pentagon.
Yes.
It is a beautiful computer. Jesus, let the people know that you actually built that yourself.
I did build that myself. Yes, one of my friends and I literally he told me these are the parts you buy, and I said okay, and boop 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 boop, put that bad boy together, and it is a cool running machine.
There you go. It is. That is sick, brother.
Listen, got it, and it's all for the podcast. It's all for the podcast.
You do what you gotta do, man.
That's it. I appreciate you. I'm thankful for you, Ryan Grant, on this Thanksgiving week. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Ryan.
Do you hear my kids in the background?
I do, 100%.
It is wonderful. Like, that's not a great way to end a podcast.
They're singing me off.
Yeah.
And as always,
Go Pack.
Go Pack, go.